It's been a while since I last made like an announcement type video, I feel like, and I used to make them really regularly because, for example, at university, I'd always have periods where I'd have loads of exams coming up, so I'd always let you guys know about that, and I'd post less frequently in those periods, and then I'd get through them, and I'd post a lot more afterwards, and it was just this sort of cyclical thing, and I kind of got used to that format, and since leaving uni, I've had multiple kind of like life updatey type things, as I'm sure you're all very familiar with, but they've been more sporadic, more random, fewer and further between, and I don't know, man, I kind of miss that sort of stuff. I think I said this the last time I made one of these videos. It was always really nice to just connect in a way that wasn't completely through the medium of, look at this video game, look at this no-nonsense guide, look at this other thing that's completely irrelevant or external to me. And it's nice every now and then to just sort of have a bit more of a personal check-in, you know? So today is one of those announcements. Thankfully, this one is all good, or at least it's like mostly good. Oh God. It is a good thing. I'm just a little nervous because this is going to impact all the content I make. It's going to impact the regularity of the content I make, the type of content as well, because I'm planning to do a whole bunch of stuff once I've got through all this that I haven't ever really done before. I'm launching a second channel at some point, which is going to be more fitness, lifestyle, health related. And I also really want to do like some IRL-y cooking streamy type things at some point because I feel like that would just be so much fun, and cooking something that I already really enjoy. And it feels like this would just be a good opportunity to do it. So there's a bunch of stuff that I'm excited about, but let me cut to the chase. I'm moving house. And I'm not just moving, I'm moving into the smack bang middle of London, which I'm really excited about because of all the cities I've ever lived in my life, and I've spent a lot of time in America, a lot of time in LA. I've obviously lived in other cities in the UK as well. London's the one that has always just called out to me as feeling like home. I grew up here, the public transport is amazing, the kind of interconnectedness of everything is incredible, the food here is fantastic, and there's just so much going on all the time. Whether you're interested in games, like I'm sure all of you guys are, or heaps of other things, whether it's like a sports related thing or in the creative kind of arts or whatever it might be, you can find your people in London pretty easily, I'd say, because it's just so densely populated with really interesting people. And all those people are trying to get by making cool independent businesses and all sorts of stuff like that these days. So there's a lot going on. So I'm really excited to be able to kind of make the absolute most of all of that and really enrich my private life, I guess, while also simultaneously feeling like by moving, it's going to give me more opportunities than I've had previously to really dive into some of those things that might require a little more kind of a window into my own personal life, like cooking, for instance. Like that's a lot more of a shared experience than just watching me play like a video game, or at least it is in my view. I don't know where those streams will happen, if they even happen. It's a pipe dream right now, but it's just a plan for when I move. I do know where the fitness channel is going to happen. I've already made content for it, and that stuff's going up soon. I do need to decide if I'm going to make a third channel. Maybe I'm getting too ahead of myself here, but hear me out, because I also really want to experiment with some music stuff. Like I've been playing around with songwriting a little bit this year. I really like playing guitar. I really like singing. Like those things are already massive interests of mine. It just doesn't necessarily make sense to post any of that on here, and it wouldn't necessarily either on a fitness / lifestyle / health channel, right? So still figuring that out, but again, that's the sort of thing that I feel like I'm going to be enabled to do creatively once I move, and it's coinciding with me feeling like I've got a new enthusiasm that I haven't had in quite a long time to just try out some new kinds of content, and it's really refreshing to hear those words coming out of my mouth because I've been making YouTube videos for 13 years, right? 13 and a half years, to the point that I was looking at my school yearbook from 10 years ago the other day, and I had, hi guys, MrRoflWaffles here, in the year, a decade ago in the yearbook. Like, it's been that damn long. And over that time, I've had periods of massive, massive enthusiasm and really feeling like I knew exactly what I was doing and where I wanted to take things. Black Ops 3 was a really good example of that. And I think in some ways, Cold War was a really good example of that as well. I'm really proud of how well I executed the content that I wanted to create in the Cold War year. But there have been other periods, sort of like this year, for instance, where I've really been a bit more aimless. And I've done a lot of traveling, which has been fantastic. This year, I spent 3 entire months in LA, gained a huge amount of kind of life experience doing that. And that was something that I'll never forget. Met some really incredible people, did some really incredible things. It was awesome. And I've also traveled to France this year. I've been to Italy. I've been really trying to sort of get out of my standard, normal pattern of living. And that's all been lovely. And I love traveling, but when I'm traveling, I'm definitely not making as much content as I'd like to. And getting home, sometimes you get home from a trip like that and you're like, well, I just want to travel more now. I just want to be doing other things more rather than kind of going back into that old routine that I was in previously and not feeling so creatively stimulated. But right now, I feel pretty good about things. There's some rearrangement of ways that I operate on my channel that I do need to do as I get through the move and just look toward making new content next year. Because obviously the needs of my channel change when I'm not making the content that I understand very, very clearly. Zombies content is completely understood to me, if that makes sense. Whereas all this other stuff is pioneering in new directions that I'm much less familiar with and just much less good at. And so I might need more help there, or I might need to test more things that fail more often, etc. And thus the needs of getting that all finished and produced are drastically different. So it's not going to be a cakewalk to do all this new stuff, but I'm thrilled by the idea of trying to do those things. And that's really cool. I haven't had that feeling in quite a while, so I'm really excited about it. Whether that will mean that I just burn out in 3 months' time or not, remains to be seen. I certainly hope not. You'd have thought I'd have at least partially learned my lesson by now. But hey, it happens to the best of us. We'll see how things go. What this means that you guys can hopefully expect is just some new experimental content that I'd really appreciate if you were patient with me for. Like, I'm not necessarily going to be posting only bangers. There are going to be some experimental videos in there that aren't so good. That's me testing a new way of presenting an idea or a new topic or a new game or a new whatever. And so your continued feedback throughout all of that would be massively appreciated. Because, for example, I posted a Modern Warfare 2 review the other day, which I did in a style that I really don't often use as a way to just deliver my content. But you guys were incredibly helpful in the comments section, giving me feedback on what you thought was good, what you think didn't work so well. You thought that maybe the commentary was a little bit more stunted compared to normal because I was having to react to stuff that I was playing live rather than preparing things. Like, all of the feedback that you guys gave me was really useful. And I hope we can continue that as ongoing dialogue in the next couple of months as I try some of this new stuff. Because it's weird, man. You do YouTube for a certain amount of time and it very dangerously can start feeling like you're just clocking in, doing the thing that's comfy and then clocking out. And I think with that has come a little bit less of the connection with you, the audience, that I really relished and enjoyed when I was starting out and really growing the channel originally. Like, it's natural. You get to a certain size where you don't have that intimate connection with a viewer that you regularly see in the comment section, for instance, that you might have done when you only had 50 people watching the video, because suddenly there's a lot more comments and suddenly there's a sea of people watching and you can't take in all those opinions at once, etc. But at least working a little bit to kind of re-establish that dialogue in more of a focused way, I think, will be really exciting as things progress when I try this new stuff out. So this is probably the last video I'm ever going to shoot here, which is really weird. Nessie's going to miss me. Don't worry, she's actually coming with me. And I'll be sure to give you guys a little bit of a tour of the new place once I've kind of got situated a little bit. I won't do it straight away because obviously things are going to be in boxes. I'm going to be unpacking. It's going to be really stressful. I've got a wedding that I'm going to this coming weekend. I've got some other stuff that's going on this weekend as well and stuff next week. And it's just, I'm busy right now. So it's going to be tricky, but I wanted to make this video as a little bit of a send off to this space that I've made thousands and thousands of videos in. Some of, I'm sure, your favorite videos that I've ever made have been made here. So it was only right that I kind of gave it one final goodbye. So thank you for watching. Thank you for sticking with me over the years. And I can't wait to try out some new content that I hope you guys will find really exciting in my new place. I'll see you soon. Bye for now.